I wasn't a big fan of any government mandates to do it much. I mean, I think government mandates are oftentimes can lead to bigger problems and bigger bureaucracies, and that's as we always see with government whenever they ramp up new rules. And I would have loved to have seen a system where we could have had voluntary labeling, where people would just automatically disclose what was in their stuff, and we wouldn't have to develop a new government body to oversee it or anything like that.
If I could just ask, why don't you think companies are willing to do that?
Well, they are. They are doing that, and companies are doing it now. You see a lot of them that are voluntarily stepping into it, and that's what when the first law failed back in California in 2012, the next day I said, please, 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 everybody just voluntarily do it. Because if everybody does it voluntarily, you don't need a law to make you do it. And that seems to be where we're going. You see companies like Campbell's, like Progresso, like others which do it voluntarily. I think that gives consumers, but the other side of the coin too is that stuff that does not contain genetically engineered products from a genetically engineered plant are well labeled. So you almost have two things labeled, yes and no, and that's pretty good. You know, that's pretty good. Any other thought? Let me go over here.
You sort of indicated earlier that there's a lack of trust, that maybe there's been an erosion of trust. I mean, a big part of the circle with the woman, she's sort of intuitively just sort of distrusting. Is it of value to think about historic events that have led to this erosion of trust?
Sure.
And how can we use that maybe in educating our students to think about those things? I mean, milk pasteurization is a classic one that's used. That was sort of like untrusted barrier.
Sure.
What else?
Oh yeah, I mean that list goes on in terms of things that the public doesn't trust, even though there's no evidence why they shouldn't. You know, whether it's milk pasteurization, the automobile, the microwave ovens, vaccinations, so many things. But I think just as important are the reasons we don't trust. Whether you're talking about tobacco, I mean, and the debacle that happened around that. I mean, so many examples. You know, the companies that make the seeds are the same companies that have their names on Superfund sites. You know, that screwed up whole towns and poisoned whole communities in places like India. You know, there are a lot of negative baggage that comes along with a lot of these companies. And I understand the skepticism and the lack of trust. But just because you don't trust a company, which I don't either, heck with all of them, I am not going to abandon a technology that can do good things. And so if you know, in my lab we created a strawberry that doesn't require fungicides. Strawberries are fungicide-intensive crops. We have a strawberry that you can plant that would probably never need additional fungicide. Great for the planet, great for the farmer, improved for the consumer. Yet we will never even commercialize that or even take it towards it because it costs too much and the industry doesn't want it. So that's kind of my sad story. Because of the lack of trust in the technology, even the good, appropriate uses by public scientists can't be used. And that's what I'd like to see shift. And I know that, you know, especially in places where there's a big shift, big emphasis on organic farming. You know, we have this in our state too. And I think that's the best place for transgenic technology, for genetic engineering. How do we make plants that contain their own protection from disease, their own protection from insects, that can grow with different fertilizer and less fertilizer? That's where I want to go with this. Yeah.
So I know there's interest in open source seed. Is there opportunities with your, you know, out of your lab for these products to be available to the farmers, you know, without having major infrastructure?
Yeah, so the question about products that would come out, say, through genetic engineering or through just in general?
Yeah, I mean, you're producing a product. It must be frustrating to a plant breeder to have a viable product.
Oh, sure.
That isn't going to be used.
Yeah, no, it's somebody who tries to do this for the right reasons to have products that will never see the light of day is frustrating. You know, in a perfect world, yes, open source would be wonderful. And there's ways that we can do that in certain ways. We do this now with some of our cultivars that come out of the programs. The big problem is breeding, especially in breeding. It costs a fortune to breed, probably $1 million, maybe $2 million, to develop the next strawberry variety, non-GM, or the next tomato variety, non-GM. And the only way our breeders can make that money back is by getting a few cents off of each plant, you know, getting a few cents that come in off each one. And to keep the program alive and to be able to afford the land charges, you know, and plus tomatoes are paying for the citrus fields, you know, where cultivars come out once every 50 years. So as much as I would love to, in the way that we get to be more open source, is more support from the federal level for what we do. And if we could have more federal support for universities, we wouldn't have to be collecting it from people who use our products. And I'd love to see that. I think that's what we should be doing. Let me go back up top again. I'll come back in a second.
Wondering what you think of the organic food industry, which grew 10% last year, is the fastest growing food industry in the country. And do you see any active pushback from them other than the lobbying that they already do in governments? Like, do you see any kind of communication, like, counter to yours?
Well, sure, yeah, and this is a really important point, because I think it makes an intuitive disconnect. I think that all of us should be, our goal should not be to draw a circle around one type of production technique and say this is better than this, or this is we're going to use instead of this. What we do is we say, here's what's important to us, here are our values, and we're going to use every single tool in the book to satisfy those. And that we're going to make more food with less input. And whatever that means, that we're going to do it. That's where I'm going. And what's nice about that is that because we have a robust organic industry in our state, good organic research in my department, and nationwide, we're able to see conventional farmers adopting crop rotation, cover crops, intercropping, that they're starting to use different soil amendments in ways they never used before. So we're finding that these techniques are becoming conventional or returning to conventional. So I'm glad that these types of production scenarios go hand in hand. I would like there to be a lot less divisiveness about it. I would have loved to have given a talk at the thing this weekend here. That was part of the original idea. I think there's a lot more kumbaya moments in the future if we play our cards right and have a much more robust food system because all tools are on the table. Yes.
Examples as to how to frame your work so that people will get excited about your research. But so let's say you went to the part where people were asking questions, and so about safety, I think that would be the biggest concern in terms of like gene editing. So how do you approach people in saying like, yes, this is safe, without bogging them down with details?
Safety is the worst word in the world because if I say to a scientist, "Is this safe? Or can you guarantee me this is safe?" What's your answer? No, I can't guarantee you water's safe. I can't guarantee you the building we're in is safe. You know.
That's the most frustrating part for me, at least.
Yeah, it kills me because and so what you have to learn is two languages. You have to speak scientists, but you also have to speak what I call Lebanese. You have to be able to talk to people in the public by discussing by understanding the public parlance of what safe means. And we can say, yes, it's safe, because we can look at before things are marketed, during the test before they're marketed, after they're marketed, epidemiological, all the different places we look at, from plausibility of harm to demonstration of harm, we don't see it. And in that way, we can say things are safe. We are awful connoisseurs of risk. You know, humans don't understand that. You know, they'll freak out about the pesticides they're told are on a strawberry that may or may not be there. Yet they'll drive their car to work, and with the risk is just off the charts. So safety is a real tricky one. Do you have a question? Yes.
First, thanks for your talk.
Thank you.
So I'm just curious about the selective use of science and your experience with that, and how some of the organizations that were on your stream up there are very much behind climate change and climate change research, and maybe are questioning biotechnology or genetic engineering. And so how, in your experience, do people pick and choose what science they listen to and what influences?
Oh, that's a great question. So the question is, what about the selective pick and choosing of science, the science that fits within an ideology? And there's some beautiful work on this by Dan Kahan. If you look at, when's he coming?
Coming
Today?
to the Bond Institute next month.
Oh, darn, I won't be here. Maybe I'll have to come back. But Dan Kahan is fantastic, and his work on cultural cognition really frames this, that people of a certain ideological grouping, certain tribe, tend to inherit similar characteristics of those that are expected to be within their membership. And there's ways in which the tribe reinforces that, and different psychological games that happen in order to ensure that that group stays the way it does. Look at the last election if you need help thinking about this. Climate change is a great example. And I think that what it means is And where most of us, those of us who are really against technologies like genetic engineering, those of us who don't believe climate, or those who might believe that climate change is a hoax, that kind of thing, everybody has to really check with yourself for self-deception. Why do you believe what you do? Who's influencing your messaging and your thinking? And being open to other schools of thought. This is something that we do in academia pretty well. I don't know that the general public is really up for that yet. And I think that you do see people digging in. There's a problem we have with, if you confront somebody about a topic, how they'll dig in their